Welcome back to Up Front. It's apparently still his if he wants it, but still no decision from Wisconsin Congressman Paul Ryan on whether he'll run for the House of Representatives' top job. Ryan, as you know, has been asked repeatedly to run for Speaker to succeed John Boehner. Ryan has consistently said he doesn't want to be Speaker, but he reportedly spent the recess week in Janesville at least thinking it over. He's also now getting some blowback from Tea Party activists who don't like some of the votes he's taken, who say he's too establishment. We're sorting through all of this now with another member of the Wisconsin congressional delegation, first-term Republican Glenn Grothman. Congressman, it's good to have you back on the program.
There's nothing better than being on Mike Goushet. It makes me feel like I made it.
That's high praise. I appreciate it. So what do you think Paul Ryan is going to do?
Well, I've said all along, I think about a 52-48% chance he takes it. I mean, I know he doesn't want to take it.
He's told you, as you said, he said, hell no, how many times to you?
He said no many times to me. I bet if you carried around a microphone with you, you could get him saying no 1,000 times so far. That being said, if you're in a room and 200 people keep saying go, 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 I think eventually the pressure just kind of gets to you and you don't want to let that many people down. Now, there's no question it will make his life more unpleasant. It means he'll be home a lot less. It means instead of studying public policy, which is the reason we run for this job, he'll be attending fundraisers. But still, it's hard to say no to 200 different people that many times. Maybe he will.
What do you think of what's happened in the party in recent days? You've seen some people in your party start to criticize Congressman Ryan's record. You've seen some conservative media, Laura Ingraham, Mark Levin, Sean Hannity saying he shouldn't be the Speaker. What do you think about that?
Well, I think they're free to say it. The problem is once the Republicans vote for somebody, they've got to abide by what should abide by what the majority of Republicans want. I have never seen in all my years in Madison so many people who won't play by the rules. And if we're going to do anything, eventually we have to respect what the majority of Republicans want. And right now we have people like Daniel Webster running for Speaker who are in essence saying, I don't care if a majority of Republicans don't want me. I'm going to put together a coalition with Democrats and see if I can become the Speaker. And that is, I think, quite irresponsible and shows they don't understand the concept of team play.
Do you think any of that criticism of Congressman Ryan is fair? There are people who don't like his vote on TARP. I mean, he was on this program at the time saying he thought the U.S. economy was going to crumble, the economy was going to crash. He did what he had to do, even though it wasn't something he was excited about. But he's starting to get hit for that vote now. What do you think about it? Again,
when I was in the state legislature, I voted for moderate people, if that's what the majority of people wanted, conservative people, if that's what people wanted. I think, you know, it's fair for them to be critical of Congressman Ryan if they want, but they have to understand at the end of the day, they have to get on board and support him if the majority of Republicans do.
You're running for re-election in 2016. It's gone by very quickly. Do you think that the sort of internal battles that are occurring in your party right now do any sort of significant damage to you as we near another election cycle?
Well, I don't think so, because I've been responsible all along on this sort of thing, and I have tried to push my agenda of less welfare, balancing the budget, do something about immigration with everyone up there. I don't, get involved with doing things that are irresponsible. I do think it's bad for the Republican Party overall, but I'm confident within the next month we will get behind and solidify behind some candidate.
Give me a couple of thoughts on two other issues. First of all, are you supporting any particular candidate now in the GOP presidential race? Have you gotten behind anyone at this point?
No, I have not. I think there are three issues that the country has to solve. We've got to solve the debt. We've got to solve the out-of-control immigration, and we've got to solve the out-of-control welfare. And quite frankly, I haven't seen any of the remaining candidates aggressively go after those issues yet. And hopefully in the next 3 or 4 months they will, and then I'll be able to endorse somebody.
And what happens come December now? We were able to avert a government shutdown. Do you think there's any chance that could happen in December?
It shouldn't happen, but I think for political reasons some Democrats want to shut down. And the reason they want to shut down is because the public will blame the Republicans. But I know...
You don't think there's some in your party who want to shut down government because of the funding of Planned Parenthood?
I think it's a small number. Even the people who make a big deal about saying we can never have a budget funding Planned Parenthood in there will also say we can never have a government shutdown, which in some cases might be mutually exclusive things that they want. But hanging around Congress, if there are 5 people I've heard out of 247 Republicans say they want to shut down the government, that's a lot.
Unlikely.
Unlikely.
Congressman Glenn Grothman, it's good to have you back on the program. We appreciate it.
Glad to be on the show.
Coming up next, 2 police officers sue a gun store and win. Was this a shot heard round the country? And remember, you can keep the conversation going throughout the week by following me at Mike Gousha on Twitter.